Hi everybody, welcome to my top 50 games of all time. We're taking care of 20 to 11 today, getting ready for the big top 10 that when this hurricane's over, or whenever we can come and back online, we're going to be doing and talking about the top 40, from 10 to 50. We're going to be talking about that live, and then I will do my top 10 live. But without further ado, the thing that you really want to know is, geez, what's in the top, what cracked the top 20? I know some of you are interested. Maybe some of you are just looking and going, does it really matter? We'll find out if you care or not, because I'm going to start the list right now. At number 20 is a Games Workshop game. Yes, it is Warhammer Fantasy. It makes the top 20. The file and regiment system I've always loved. And when I look at Warhammer Fantasy, I look at it as a whole. My first army was Wood Elves, and I loved them. I painted them. It was the first army of Warhammer that I ever got. And I remember painting it all up and bringing it down to the gaming shop, which was a Games Workshop in the Farmington Mall. Wow, that's going back a ways. And going in there, bells and whistles on, and saying, boy, this is going to be fun. And I got slaughtered. I mean slaughtered. Well, that kind of raised my determination, and I decided to learn quite a bit about the game. So I started buying more and different armies and practicing with different armies, and I found I was sucked into their whole universe from a fantasy point. Yes, we've already talked about 40K, but this game has changed a lot too, because now here we are in the Age of Sigmar, and as much as I don't want to like Age of Sigmar, I find that it's easy to bring newer players in, like Janice or Mimi even, to just, it's a simplified system, and I kind of like that part, but boy do I miss the old rank and file and how things used to work when your undead armies coming across that table. And it just, it always holds a very dear and deep spot for me. And I think because it's gone, that's why it's dropped down so far to number 20. So there we go. At number 19 is a series that I've enjoyed from the beginning. And the reason I collect this as a whole is, number one, I like what Zeb's doing with it going forward. I like what was happening beforehand, that I have all these figures that I can use for D&D and play them individually in their box sets. The game can be kind of, you can kind of stall out and get bogged down, but the Advanced Dungeons and Dragon box sets I like a lot for what they are. If you play them, enjoy them as a dungeon crawl for what they are, they're pretty doggone good games. And they're something that you can start and teach people about dungeon crawls through those, and then move on to bigger things like Shadows of Brimstone or Descent or other dungeon crawl games. And that's where I find that this system really works. It's basic enough to bring people in, but hard enough to challenge them and make them think a little bit. So at number 19 is Dungeons and Dragons box sets, and that's from Ashelon all the way to the newest one, which is Tomb of Annihilation. Number 18 is probably one of my favorite, massive, huge, spend almost an entire afternoon playing work replacement games, and that is Caverna. I really like Caverna. I like how it plays. I like all the work replacement of it, and a lot of people wouldn't expect that game, a Euro type game, to be in my top 20. But if I had to have a Euro type game in my top 20, it is definitely Caverna. I like it. Some people say it's a little dry. Another reason, maybe Odin, what is it? Odin's, I have it too. The new one, Feast of Odin, isn't in there because I just haven't played it yet. So maybe that replaces it and knocks Caverna out. And there's a couple other things that can really play with it. The Colonists, I heard, is very good. I haven't had a chance to sit down and play that. And I think that plays into this just staying at number 18. At number 17 is a game that really kind of is a foundation for so many different games. But it all started with Battle Cry, but has worked this way that this game, when you sit down and play it, it is played at conventions on a grand overlord level, and it is just constantly played. People rework it, build their own terrain, build their own pieces for it, and I don't think Richard Bohr could be more proud of Memoir 44. A symbolized war game, but it's a war board game. It's something that you can sit down with anybody and play a war game with. And I enjoy that aspect of it. It can be frustrating, especially if you end up with a whole bunch of left flank cards and you don't have anybody in your left flank. That's your left side. I'm looking at the little window there. Like I said, we don't worry about professionalism. But I really, really enjoy this game. I have everything for it. It's fun to just take out and start playing this game and having a great time. I like the simplicity of it, like I said 1,000 times through this. But also, you can paint up the figures, the different maps, the Overlord version when you can have a bunch of people on one side with a commander behind you. It gives enough variance that it is just, I think, very, very good. And if it was played more at conventions and people would pull some of the younger guys in there, it's a gateway to get you to maybe some of these bigger games. And that's something to think about. But it isn't the only gateway game, and I want you to keep that in mind. At number 16 is a game that I think would be a lot higher, but there's reasons for it. And that's TI 4/3/ whatever you want to call it. I love Twilight Imperium. I know it's one of Sam's favorite games of all time. It's in his top 5. Was for the longest time number 1 game. I love this game, but here's the biggest problem that I have with this game, and you're going to find out that there's another game that I have a problem with, is that it is hard to get as many people together to sit for that amount of time. It's hard enough to get the people together. Okay? One thing about a lot of gamers have a problem. They have a gaming group that can meet for such a time to such a time. And to have an event such as TI is not the easiest thing in the world. Twilight Imperium takes time. There are a couple things also with it that I really wish that were a little more deeper. Well, not deeper, but as a 4X game, there's just certain things that I just wish the tree I liked, but they took it away, and I'm okay with it. But I really liked the tech tree. I liked where you had to work for different things, trying to defend your universe. I wish there was more attacking, more viciousness in it, where you are really trying to survive and not be overcome. I do like that. I don't think it works as great with 3 people as it does with 5, and you're talking all doggone day. So the reason that it's at 16, as much as I love it, it's hard to get to the table, so it stays at 16. Number 15 is a newer game that I found that I absolutely adore, and Janice and I have played it a few times. We goofed on the rules, then we replayed it, and we did some more, and we just got really sucked into it. And we're looking to to get Mike over here and start a huge campaign and do it live or taped or whatever if people want to see it. But it is a game that I can't wait for them to add even more to it, even though it has so much and it'll take you forever to even finish what it has. And that, at number 15, is Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven, for a game that doesn't chuck any dice, and when I heard it didn't chuck dice, I went, do I want to play this? But with the unique mechanisms that it has, the very deep role-playing, wow, that's all I can say. The map, all the stuff, the box, 15 pounds of just greatness. This is a great game, and soared up my top of my charts to hit number 15. If you have a chance to get in that Kickstarter or anything like that, go ahead and get on it. And number 14, this is a game I've sung praises about for a long time. One of my dear friends now has taken it over. When it originally came out, I was blown away with it, and I wish that they handled it better, because I think this game would have had a lot more life. But because I still love the game, and I can play the game, and I can do a couple house rule things, like fix a couple things here or there, this to me is probably one of the best miniature games I've played in a long time. And I play it as often as I play anything else. And that's why it comes in at number 14, and that's All Quiet on the Martian Front. If you don't know enough about this, you need to go to Ironclad Games and check this out. War of the Worlds, how do you not get sucked into those tripods? And then, you know, on the other side, you know, you have the United States, you have Canada, you have Britain, you have all these unique tanks with little quirky kind of steampunky things, and you're trying to take them out, and it, for me, is a great game. There's a couple things that I like to see happen with it, and to have it go forward, but we'll just wait those out and see what happens in the future. This game is at number 14. I love this game. I suggest it highly. If you don't know enough about it, check out some of the videos that we have here on the channel, or go to Ironclad Games and learn about All Quiet on the Martian Front. At number 13, I've always sung praises of Dan Verzen, and he's made so many great solo games. But this is a game that you can play solo or play together, and I found that in both theaters that this game was produced, that I enjoy playing this solitaire when I have nobody around. It's very in-depth. You are taking each individual squad member and you are outfitting them a certain way, and then you are dealing with certain crisis situations and actually having to hopefully get through these things, and having all kinds of things happen to you as you try to reach your objective. Well, Warfighter, the series, and I do mean the series because I do like the modern version, but I also am in love with the World War II version. It just has so much, there's so much depth to it. It's beautifully produced, actual real life soldiers introduced into it, and you just, you know, every little thing that you do, from checking and making sure you have enough clips and not running out of ammo, to making sure your guns don't jam, to making sure you have enough frag grenades for certain situations, finding your way, trying to get your guys all the way through to finish the objective and get out of Dodge. Dan Verzen, a very clean game. One of the few games that you can look at the rule book, go through it, and have an understanding of how this game goes, and you can see the passion in Dan's eyes whenever he releases a new product. Dan is a class all the way guy, and let me just tell you, this is one of his finest works. And number 12 is a newer game that really not only shocked me, but really blew me away in the fact of how good it was. I helped get this funded on Kickstarter, and for a newer game to be this high, and this is one of the higher newer games on my list. Oh, well, no, that's a lie, because there's been an adjustment here or there. But to be up here in the top 20 really says a lot about this, because I don't feel that there is another game that plays as well and gives you a feel of football as TechNo Bowl. First of all, coming with 32 teams, the passion that Brett Spivey put into this game. Listen, you can get this at Miniature Market. I'm telling you, with football season on the horizon, you guys are going to want to play a good football game. This is a great football game. There are so many variants and different things that he's come up with. His website, the followings, the leagues, There are so many people that have dedicated to themselves to this fantastic game that I suggest that anybody out there that even has an inkling liking of football would enjoy this game. Even people that don't like football, I think, would like this and have an understanding of the game. Would just have fun, because it is just you versus whoever. Mano a mano, woman on man, woman on woman, whatever. Cheerleader on cheerleader, guy or girl cheerleader, doesn't matter. You can sit down, play this game, learn it very quickly, and find that this is just fun. Plain, simple fun. That's it. And that doesn't get any better than that. Now, rounding out our list here for today is a game that I made a video about 2 years ago and condemned this company to no end about how they do things and how disappointed I was in their customer service, and still am. A matter of fact, I'm totally disappointed in this company because they had the potential to be great, and I mean more than great, but their quality control is horrible. Some of the things that they do I just don't agree with, but when I sit down and play this game, I absolutely adore this game, and that is Dungeon Saga. Dungeon Saga at number 11. Why? Because it reminds me of something that I don't think I'll ever have again, and that's Warhammer Quest. There is so much that they put out and condensed, and how you can make your own adventures, play it solo, play it with a group, somebody being the DM, or just everybody all together going against the Overlord, which is, there's cards that with automation and stuff like that. It gets a little quirky that way, but it does work. It is fun. I love the game. I love all the components on it. I hated the original models, especially when you turned over the book and it told you how to fix models. And they said, oh, well, this is so you can make your own poses. Well, if I wanted to make my own poses, I would have glued the arm this way or that way instead of getting an entire figure that was bent like this. That's not a unique pose unless I'm throwing a boomerang at you. So, for me, Mantic really needed to step up their game, because they had something great. From the boxes that were bookshelf boxes, which were just inspiring. I mean, you just looked, you said, oh, I could put these all on the shelf and it'd be perfect. Paint everything up, get it in the box, have all the pieces there, take them down, play them as you want to, add the expansions, and there's a lot of stuff to it. A lot of stuff, and you can do a lot of really cool things. Different map packs, furniture packs, just everything that you can want. And that's why it's so disappointing when you get two of the same pack of cards and things like that. But this game does come in at 11, and the reason I fought with myself about this for having it so high is that when I really looked at it as a whole, do I blame the company or do I just look at the product itself? And this is one of those instances that I just have to look at the product and say, as far as dungeon crawls, this is one of the top dungeon crawls around, and I love it, and I really do. So, wow, we just did 20 to 11. That leaves our top 10 games of all time, which hopefully, storm willing and all the other stuff that's happening, we will have that live, hopefully sooner than later. I'm not going to put a date on it, but boy, folks, this has been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed this beyond human belief. I hope you have as well, and we'll come around when we do our live version, and then we can talk about the games on the top 50. We'll go over all the games, and you can give your opinions and your thoughts and everything about it as we talk about my top 50. You may disagree with some stuff, you may agree with some stuff, or maybe you think some stuff should be higher, or maybe some stuff be lower. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. You can put them in the comments or wait for the live show. It doesn't matter. We still have 10 more to go. Let's just get through this storm, and we'll get this up live, and we'll be talking about Rob's top 10 games of all time. Until next time, I'm Rob Warren, and I will see you soon.